The very first time that I spoke with Juliu about this course was in April of 2013 during an archway course in Miami. I was in training that year to run the New York City Marathon. I happened to be sitting next to Juliu, and I had done a long run the day before, and I started chatting with him about it. I had thought for a long time about applications for runners, but I had never brought it up. I kind of was still in formative thought out in the ether. He turned to me and he said, this should be a course. And I still have the notes when something would come to him and he'd turn to me and he would give me ideas. By the end of that course, I confirmed with him, I have permission to start creating gyrotonic applications for runners. He said, yes. The next time I saw him was October of that year. The New York Marathon is the first Sunday of November. There was a gyrokinesis level 2 course in October that I went to. And again, I had like a 20-mile run on one of our days off. On the last day, he did one of those things where we all walk around, and he and I walked together for a while, and he was giving his insight. He was wishing me well for my marathon. So that's 2013. And then when was it, Robert? Was it 2017, 2018 that you started speaking with Gina and Juliu?
I think 2018. I had a talk with Juliu when we were in Münstertal, had this rejuvenation course, and we had a nice dinner. And then we talked about the Born to Run book, which is very famous. And he read, and me too. A few weeks later, I asked Gina to make a course for runners. And she told me about Chantal. I didn't know Chantal to this time. And I met Chantal the first time was in Münstertal.
Robert and I didn't know each other, but he became a master trainer, and Robert, he has a huge running background. He went to Gina and Juliu with this same idea, gyrotonic applications for runners. And their response was, we have a master trainer who already has been given permission to author this, but we think that you guys would co-author this really beautifully together. The next time I was in the Black Forest, they called a meeting with me and they presented that idea to me. I was thrilled. I hadn't met him yet, but I trust Gina and Juliu implicitly. So if you guys say he's an amazing master trainer, I'm excited. Let's do it. And so it went from there. Robert and I got in contact pretty immediately and started strategizing how we would co-create a course from across the Atlantic. He's based in Heidersheim in Germany, and I'm based in New York City. It started from there, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work together with Robert. We had our inaugural course in January of 2020.
Yes. So running was always my passion. It was my favorite activity since I was a child. I remember running through the schoolyards, kindergarten. Every time there was a break in school, I used it for running. I was doing sports where I need the running, like playing soccer. So I went into a track and field club, and then I started to train more in the sprinting. In my 20s, I was quite a good sprinter, and I ran the German championships. My special discipline was the 400 meters, but I had to stop that career because of many injuries. I had problems with my muscles, my Achilles tendons, and that stopped my career. I also stopped running because at that time it was not possible to run anymore. I started a family, and I was working and studying sports, and I worked in a rehabilitation center, exercising and training with people who needed my help. Then I found the GYROTONIC system and did my pre-training foundation with Paul Horvath, and came to get a master trainer. And I also started my running again, but this time I was not sprinting anymore. I started to do more longer distances. So I did a 100-kilometer run in Switzerland, and I did a lot of ultra trails in the Alps. A lot of runners have injuries, and we planned a course where we can help them with exercises, to treat and also to prevent. I think we also want to bring back people to running who had maybe a bad experience with running. Others who already run, they can gain through that course, the new exercise, the material we created.
We start from the ground up, creating a solid foundation, which is our healthy, awakened, fully functional feet. We also create an understanding of our feet. Like, we can very easily feel like they're like this distal part of our bodies and we don't have a lot of attention to them. We create in our course an understanding of how are our feet supposed to be. And we give tools for people to really evolve their feet. If they're in a place where their feet have been cramped into shoes and they're not well aligned or well spread or well articulating and communicating with the floor. Other applications would be healthy aging, because healthy feet provides better balance. Loss of balance and falling is one of the biggest things for people who are going into their later years. The foundations of the feet go right up the chain. Better knees, better hips, better spine. Everything functions better with the foundations properly attended to. There are two distinct ways the course can be used. They can either be in conjunction with a training run, either pre or post, or you can use it on days that you don't run for cross training. There's a lot of material. In 3 days, we provide a lot of strategies for people to be able to joyfully run free, I think is becoming one of our catch terms, right, Robert? Run free.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of running. There's so many people who run and get injured. It's documented. And the purpose of this course is for people to not be afraid of running. Evolutionarily, we're designed to run, and not just run, but run pain-free. And we have the inherent structures in our body to do that. And we just need to uncover them for people, give them tools to tap into those inherent structures and train them.
Everybody who walks and runs can have the same health benefits. For some people, it's better to walk than to run. We want to have people give this a try again, because the running is a joy and a fun and a pleasure that I would like to share with everybody.
Any trainer who has clients who walk or run, as Robert said, that's really succinct, and it's not an exaggeration. If we can inspire joy with just a simple act of walking, and then take it a little farther if people want to. We've had plenty of people who come to the course who've never run before. And by the end of the course, they start trying to run. They get inspired. They see that they can do it pain-free with the techniques and the information that we share. It's really inspiring for us to see that inspired in people, whether it's walking or running. Sitting is the new smoking. Just to get people walking and running is amazing. I really don't think that there is a trainer who won't benefit from taking this course. Whether or not they perceive themselves as a runner.
They get a little bit of a lecture at the beginning, so they get an understanding how human evolution was, and that we are built to run and to walk. Also a little bit about biomechanics, how running functions. Then we have a gyrokinesis format for runners, where we start with the feet and then it goes through the whole body. Then we have a lot of material on the pulley tower and the handle unit, which focuses on the most important parts for runners, like psoas, piriformis, hamstrings. Then we share all that stuff that Julio gave us. That's what we share with the students. I say to the students at the end is that if they go out and run, it should finish in pleasure. That's also what Julio says. Every exercise has to finish in pleasure. That's the same for the running.
We're both teaching quite a lot, and we have great opportunities. There are so many studios. It's really turning out quite beautifully, the reach within our geographical communities and then our further global communities. It's really beautiful. I'm always so excited to see where you're teaching and the communities that you're reaching, Robert. The spirit of our course is creating an understanding, so then we can have an experience of joy and freedom in running. Both Robert and I have an open and playful attitude with our teaching style. We're there to learn. We're also create an environment where we really can be curious. So we really invite everybody to come and experience it. We hope people do.